king, I am not a god, I am Hump.
What's poppin' Tano? Today's video is about one of the best Warframes in the game, Saryn Prime build for level 9999 Steel Path in Warframe. Let's go. Welcome back Tano, I hope you enjoyed the speedrun. As always, before I build a weapon or Warframe, I rely on my method D.V.S. D stands for damage, V stands for 10 stacks of viral for 325% more damage to enemies HP, S stands for stripping armor to lower enemies damage reduction to deal more damage. Let's go. Now as always, we take beginners friendly approach for Thanos that want to learn about Saryn. Her passive, statue effect, inflicted upon enemies last 25% longer, really powerful passive. Spores. Inflict a target with pox of corrosive spore. It will keep going, boom, 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 boom. Infinite duration. For example, if you have 2 Emerald Archon shards, this ability itself can actually armor strip those enemies. Spread spores to nearby enemies by destroying them or killing their host. Think of it as an infected enemy. When you kill it, that infection spread to other enemies. The longer the spores spread, the damage will increase, and you can trace it on the right side in top of your abilities, and it's capped at 100,000. Alright. The enemies affected by spores will receive 400% more miasma damage, her 4th ability, and we're gonna get to that in a second. The spores got 2 augment, one called Venom Dose, it's very famous one. Hold to cast will grant all allies within 15 meters an additional 100% corrosive damage to their attacks for 40 seconds, and this will not corrupt the fact that you can just tap for the corrosive stacks and infecting enemies. It's like you can use the ability now by tap and hold both at the same time. Now, revealing spores. Spores augment infected enemies with those spores within 40 meters, appears on the minimap, and you get plus 40 enemy radar. As it's Exilus, it's really powerful and nice, but I believe there is a better Exilus mods we can use in here, unless you want to use this Saryn for Elite Sanctuary or Sanctuary Onslaught to nuke, so this revealing spores become in handy. Saryn's second ability, Molt. Shedding her skin like a snake, Saryn leaves a decoy behind to draw fire from enemies, some sort of aggro, alright? Now when you cast this ability or it runs out of duration, it will explode and deal toxin. You can cast this as many times as possible, and it's really powerful as it gives you a speed multiplier increase, and this ability will cleanse you from all statue effects, and the toxin proc from this ability is 100% statue chance. Now it got an augment called the Regenerative Molt. After casting Molt, Saryn regenerates 50 health per second for 10 seconds. Really nice for health regenerating tanks. Saryn's third ability, Toxic Lash. While active, attacks deal additional toxin damage. Their effect is doubled for melee strikes. Instantly burst the spores from first ability when attacking inflicted enemies. Now, the most powerful thing about this ability is like a dip and double dip and triple dip, and it's really crazy. How? So for example, you have a weapon modded with toxin and cold. That means it becomes viral, right? This ability doesn't care because all it cares about is the toxin modding of your weapon. For example, the toxin mods will apply their toxin mod multiplier to toxic lash, toxin ticks, regardless if they are combined into other elements. Now, the extra toxin damage does not combine with a weapon's elements. For example, if you have cold and then you get toxic lash toxin, it will not become viral. The faction damage mods is really important here as they are multiplicative. After first applying the damage multiplier from the faction, will multiply toxic lash hits a second time and multiply its toxin ticks a third time, effectively triple dipping, which makes it really insane. And it got an augment called Contagion Cloud, really amazing when it comes to nuking maps, for example Elite Sanctuary or low to mid game, or maybe like a bit level cap if you like get all the D.V.S in, but it will be very slow. Create a 5-meter toxin clouds, dealing 300 toxin damage per second for 12 seconds. With every kill, damage is twice as strong for melee attacks. So you get the point here. So a weapon with toxin and this combined is really really crazy. And by now you will understand Saryn is a weapon buffer and a nuking Warframe for low to mid game. Saryn 4th ability Miasma. Release a poisonous miasma that deals viral damage to enemies in range. Foes afflicted by spores are more susceptible to the mist. Now, the enemies that affected by spores will receive 400% more damage from miasma, or you can see it right there, spore damage multiplier. This ability is really awesome when it comes to nuking low to mid game, and it's really powerful when it comes to CC and proccing viral on all levels of the game. Really awesome ability. Now, before I show you the Saryn build, you need to learn something called shield gating. A lot of Thanos gets confused about it, and I get asked about it all the time. What is shield gating? You need to understand what is shield gate. The gate is the point between your shield and your health. When your shield is depleted in Warframe, you don't die. That's part of the game code. Developers developed it and designed it like that. When you lose your shield, you reach the gate point, you don't die. You will be invulnerable for certain duration. Right there, the invulnerability period, based on how many shields you have. 1150 shields is equal to 2.5 seconds invulnerability, and that's the highest you can receive in game, unless you're using Hildrim for 3.5 seconds, which is irrelevant topic right now. So, as long as when you lose your shield and you reach the gating phase, you return your shield, you will be alive. Unless you get a proc of toxin, that means you will get directly hit in your HP. So, shield gating is technically returning your shield very fast before you get a blow in your HP and the gate and vulnerability phase ends. And now for Saryn build, starting with Brief Respite. On ability cast, Squad converts 150% of energy spent to shields while overshield are inactive. So this is your way. When you lose your shield, you return it by casting any ability, so you stay alive even if you get a blow here and there. Prime sure-footed, so you resist knockdowns. And now and Saryn is really squishy Warframe, and getting knocked down is not good at all for her. Also, there is a bug with the 4th ability. If you cast it and you get knocked down, when you stand up, you will be casting automatically the miasma, and that actually will get you killed because you're locked into the animation. Alright, so now let's assume you don't have the Prime sure-footed and you want to replace with something else until the login reward. And I really hope DE show some mercy to Thanos and throw Prime sure-footed with Barukitir, and that will solve a lot of problems and builds. Starting first with options. If you want to increase strength, you put Power Drift right here. If you want to increase, for example, let's say your range, you equip Cunning Drift. If you want to resist knockdown, alright, all you have to do is equip the Handspring, as I think it's the best option, a replacement for Prime sure-footed. It's even better than the normal sure-footed. Alright, simple as that. Or you equip Saryn, for example, first ability, Exilus slot in here, but totally up to you. Alright, Prime to Flow, obvious for range. Catalyzing Shield is the old school of shield gating. We reduce our shields to 74. That means we get 1.3 seconds, because without it, if I take it off right about here, I would have 370, but 1.4 but with catalyzing shield because the shields is so few, and I will be able to return them very fast with brief respite to full for the full shield gating phase. Primed continuity for ability duration, rolling guard for bad situations, or you get toxin proc in your HP, you want to roll guard. Stretch for ability range, umbral intensify for strength, equilibrium health pickup gives 110 energy pickup gives 110% health. Now of course, you know, on Saryn you wanna spam, for example, the miasma, or spam the spores and this and that, toxic lash, and you of course are shield gating mechanics using your energy for shields. Equilibrium comes in handy, but it's up for replacement if you feel comfortable using the build, and you can put more range or more strength in here, totally up to you. Equilibrium is optional. Venom Dose, hold to cast will grant all allies within 15 meters an additional 100% corrosive damage to their attacks for 40 seconds, and that's with the ability strength we will get 144%. Now of course you can make the build more strength, there is no worry about it at all, but the build the way it is just perfect. Arcane Energize, on energy pickup 60% chance to replenish 150 energy to self and allies within 15 meters, 15 seconds cooldown. Arcane Precision on headshot, 300% damage for secondary weapons. This precision you can switch, it depends on what you want. For example, if you're going to play on your primary, for example, you're going to be using Rage right here. If you're going to be using your melee, you'll be using Fury, for example. And if you want to rely on your ability and you use more strength, you're going to be using Molt Augmented in here. Now, if you don't like Arcane Energize and you don't like using a Arcane for weapons in here, you can flip Arcane Energize to Molt Augment. And here you can use, for example, I don't know, Molt Efficiency right here. One shield active game for ability duration and up to 24 seconds. And so on, you play around with it. There is no wrong with that. The helminth ability we're going to be using is Quiver. What Quiver does? Quiver will make you invisible. Now, still you will receive a random bullet here and there, will deplete your shield, and then with any ability, including Quiver, you'll be able to shield gate. But Quiver has a very nice feature to it. For example, if you're using a companion, let's just use Nautilus right here, and then it takes some practice, and then you go like so. Hold on, let me use a different weapon. Alright, you go like so, and then you can cast it on your sentient, and your sentient will keep you invisible all the time as it will run around with you. Now, of course, the reason I use the Quiver, not only because it will make me invisible, it's also so I don't boost Saryn in, for example, a method I like. Now, for example, you can use here Roar and use Shade or Horus to keep you invisible, or you can use Eclipse and use Shade and Horus to keep you invisible. You can use Zata Whisper and use Shade and Horus to keep you invisible, and so on and so on and so on. And if you want to flip this build into a, let's say, for example, a nuking build, it's really simple and easy to do. You throw as many strength possible here, as many range possible here, as many duration possible here, at the cost of your efficiency. It will be 45 efficiency, obviously. And then simply you just go and equip here, for example, Roar, and you go to Elite Sanctuary or Sanctuary Onslaught or even Steel Path mid to low, low to mid game, and you'll be able to nuke everything with enough stacks of spores and miasma. There is no worry about that. Now also, if you want, you can equip here, for example, Gloom instead, or you can equip a Breach Surge. You can play around. The build the way it is really perfect, and feel free to explore the helminth abilities and let me know in the comments below. Now, as the first ability will proc stacks of corrosive, we'll be running 2 Emerald Archon shards for 10, instead of 10 corrosive stacks to 14, and I will show you right here that the ability itself is capable of reaching 14 stacks by itself, 5, 7, 9, 11, 14, and it's actually armor stripped that guy by itself, which is the first ability on the sports. Simple as that. Now, of course, we'll be using a weapon with corrosive, so we can single target any enemy that we want, but still, the ability itself will spread and armor strip enemies for you, and then with miasma for the viral. It's really awesome. Okay, now the casting speed is really important. That's why I'm running 1 Tau Forged Amber Archon, and then I will be running 2 Violet Archon shards for the melee critical damage, for the Toxic Lash doubles for melee strikes. Simple as that. Now I will have more than 500 energy for the damage boost to be doubled. Really awesome Warframe, and it is very awesome damage boosting. But when it comes to level cap, you need to understand that it's not about throwing all strength, all range, all duration, and then you go there, you have no way to survive. You need to balance between survivability and damage and buffs for your weapons. Otherwise, if you're going for low to mid game or just nuking, throw as much strength is there, who cares, alright? Now this build is simply you can use quiver on your in the ground, or you can use quiver on your companion. That's totally up to you. And then what you want to do is you'll be if you're using Madura, you're gonna be sling. If not, whatever. Use the spores on 7 enemies, like so for the first, and then third ability active. Okay, and then you can use miasma right about here to proc viral, and then you can just like shoot them, and they're pretty much gone. Let's do it one more time. Go. I'll be using Ixoris. Ixoris build is on the channel already. Buffing myself here and there, using miasma, and then boom. And they are totally deleted. Simple as that. All you have to do is you'll be camping in one spot, or you'll be using the companion to move around. I told you it takes some practice. See, I failed a couple of times in there. There you go, but it's real. Okay, there you go. We'll be moving around and killing everything on the map. You have enough duration on the build to do so. Simple as that. And if you flip this build into a nuking build, simply you'll be casting the first ability, like so, and you'll be casting third ability for your weapons, and then you're going to be miasma, 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 until you get them all killed. There you go. Miasma, and you keep doing that. And the stacks of viral, for example, my Nautilus is proccing so fast, the stacks of viral on them, and we'll be able to kill them all in no time. And these are level 225 heavy corrupted gunners. They are not a joke at all. There you go. Now, in this case, you'll be equipping a different helmet ability. For example, you're equipping Roar, as it affects abilities and weapons, and that will make it even more deadly. Simple. In the end of the video, I want to say no build is written on a stone. You can remove quiver and replace it with any helmet you want. And if you want more invisibility, you can just use shade or huras, and quiver, replace it with roar, eclipse, Zata whisper, whatever you want. Wrathful advance for red crits on your melee weapons, since it dips, since it will give you more critical chance, and you will have third ability doubled for your melee weapons. I want to say 9 out of 10, must have Warframe, really amazing. I hope DE give us more Warframes like her in the future. In the end, I want to say special thanks to everyone been supporting the channel in any way by liking, subbing, or commenting. Join our Discord, link in the description. We're creating amazing community. Special thanks to special VIPs, Reka, Kai, Illusion, Orfreen, and Irish. And Disputed Donator, Free Hate. Thank you so much, brother, for all your support. And the whole of donations, Free Hate, Kali, Rek, Orfreen, Victor, Mr. V, Mika Wes, Milan, Elionot, and Noobmaster, and everyone in my community. And see you guys next time.